everyone, my name is Professor Perkle. Today we're going to travel to space. Space is full of mystery and unknowns, but today I'll be sharing a few different science experiments you can do at home that are involving space. First, we will be discovering why the moon has craters. So if you look up at the moon, you might notice that it has some dark circles in different spots, and those are called craters. Now there's a lot of flying debris like asteroids or rocks that fly through space and they hit the moon and they cause these dents and holes in the moon. So we can demonstrate that today. I have a pie plate and some flour. I'm going to put some of the flour into the pie plate. You just want to cover the bottom like that. And next, I have some baby oil that will just help it get kind of moistened and let our rocks make some marks in the flour. I have a spoon and you can kind of just stir that in. So you kind of want it to be like a almost kind of sticky consistency. So you might have to add a little bit more. You can see when I press my spoon in it, it kind of mushes together, and that's what we kind of want. You want to make a nice surface, as smooth as you can make it. So mine looks like this. Now I have these pebbles here that I just found outside, and these are going to act as our asteroids or our rocks or whatever else might be flying around in space. What you can do is just drop them from pretty high height into the flour. You'll notice that they kind of sink down into our mixture here. And some of them, that one just jumped and it made a second little hole. So now that we dropped all our rocks, you can have fun removing them carefully. And you can see the impressions that the rocks left in the flour. And this is just what happens on the moon. So that when these rocks fall into the moon, they create these craters on the moon. So we just did that with the flour and these little pebbles that we found outside. You can try bigger rocks or smaller rocks and see how that affects it. For the next experiment, I will be showing you how to create some constellations right at home. So I have a piece of construction paper and I took a white crayon. You can draw with a white crayon on a black piece of paper to make a constellation. So this one, if anyone recognizes, is the Big Dipper. So next what you're going to do is take a pair of scissors and you can carefully fold around the spot you made those points and cut out a little mini half circle, and it'll create a little hole in the paper like that. So you can do that for each of the points along the paper. We got 3, now we'll do a few more. You can look up different constellations and you could try a bunch of different ones to see how they all look. So I've cut out each of the holes, and now we can use a bright light to kind of project it on the wall behind us. So if you use a bright flashlight, you can see that we have our constellation on the board there. So if you're in a really dark room, it'll look pretty cool. So here you can see though, our dots are on the wall. If we move it closer to the light, it gets really big. And when we move it farther away, they get smaller. For the next experiment, I will show you how to make a galaxy out of some crayon shavings. Now, if you look online, you can see some pictures of galaxies, and they look pretty colorful. So I have shaved some crayons with a scissors. Now you need a parent's help for this whole experiment, so they can help you get the shavings from the crayon. And then I'm going to take some wax paper and then we'll also be using an iron, so you definitely need your parents' help for this one. So I've heated up my iron, and what I'm going to do is arrange my shavings onto the wax paper in some sort of pattern that I like. So I have some red shavings, and I have some pink. And then I have some mixed white and purple. So then when I get my shavings in my spot that I would like, you can fold over the other side of the wax paper to cover it. And then you can gently take the iron and just quickly run over it with the iron. And it'll melt the shavings to look kind of like a galaxy, like you might see. So you can melt it as little or as much as you want and use any different colors that you'd like to use. But this is how mine turned out. And then what you can do is, when it dries, you can carefully cut around the outside and you could hang it in the window. And it looks pretty nice when the sun comes through it. So here is our crayon galaxy. Thank you for joining me in our exploration through space today. I hope you can try some of these experiments at home. Thanks for watching.